Life in Chicago was always busy, filled with the constant hum of traffic, the energy of people rushing through their days, and the small joys that came from simply being with family. For me, my world revolved around my son Daniel. He was 22, kind-hearted, and filled with so much potential. I had raised him alone after his father passed away when Daniel was only 10. Every choice I made, every sacrifice, had been with one purpose: to give him the best life possible. But one morning, I noticed something different. My bright, hopeful son came down to breakfast looking hollow. His eyes were sunken with sleeplessness. His shoulders drooped like he was carrying the weight of the world. He barely touched the pancakes I had made, something he usually devoured with boyish enthusiasm. "Daniel, sweetheart," I asked, keeping my tone light but filled with concern. "What's wrong?" He shook his head at first, trying to brush it off. But I knew my son. His silence screamed louder than words ever could. After a long pause, he whispered, "Mom, she left me." The she he spoke of was Emily. I had met her a few times when Daniel brought her home for dinners. She was polite, beautiful in that effortless way, but I always sensed something distant about her. She had big dreams of moving to Los Angeles to pursue her career, and though Daniel loved her deeply, I wasn't sure she loved him the same way. Still, when they were together, his eyes lit up. I had hoped maybe she would grow into his world. "What do you mean she left?" I asked softly, my heart aching as he said the words. "She said she wasn't ready for a serious relationship. That she wanted freedom, adventure." And just like that, she ended it. His voice cracked. In that moment, I felt two things: heartbreak for my son, and anger toward the girl who had treated his love so carelessly. A mother's instinct is to protect, to shield her child from pain, but sometimes all you can do is sit beside them in the storm. For weeks, Daniel was a shadow of himself. He stopped going out with his friends, stopped laughing at the silly jokes we used to share while cooking dinner. He went to work at his small marketing firm, came home, and disappeared into his room. At night, I could hear him pacing, or worse, crying quietly. No mother ever wants to hear that sound. I realized that if I didn't step in, he might lose himself completely. So I decided to act, not by confronting Emily or blaming her, but by helping Daniel rediscover who he was before her. "Daniel," I said one evening as I knocked on his door, "get dressed. We're going out." He looked confused. "Out where?" "Just trust me." I took him to Navy Pier, one of his favorite childhood spots. The Ferris wheel, the laughter of families, the smell of popcorn, it all brought back memories. I reminded him of the times when it was just us against the world, when we dreamed big dreams even if we didn't know how we'd get there. We rode the Ferris wheel, and I saw a small smile tug at his lips. "This feels nice," he admitted. From that day, I made it my mission to bring light back into his life. We started taking long walks by Lake Michigan, cooking new recipes together, and even joining a community volunteer group. Slowly, I saw glimpses of my son return, the sparkle in his eyes, the laughter in his voice. But healing is never simple. One night, Daniel broke down again. "I don't know, Mom. Maybe I wasn't enough for her," he confessed. His voice carried the raw insecurity that so many feel after heartbreak. I took his hands in mine, looked him straight in the eye, and said, "Daniel, don't you ever believe that. Love doesn't fail because someone isn't enough. It fails because sometimes people want different things. You gave her your heart, and that shows your strength, not your weakness." Those words seemed to touch him deeply. I could see him processing, as though a weight was finally lifting. Weeks turned into months. Daniel was slowly piecing himself back together, and I stood by him every step of the way. But then something unexpected happened. At a community art fundraiser we attended, Daniel met someone new. Her name was Sarah, a young woman studying to become a teacher. She was nothing like Emily, warm, grounded, genuine. I noticed the way Daniel looked at her, cautious yet intrigued, as if he wasn't sure he was allowed to hope again. Later that night, he admitted to me, "Mom, I don't know if I'm ready for this." I smiled, placing a hand on his shoulder. "That's okay. Healing doesn't mean rushing into something new. It means being open to the possibility that better things are ahead." Over the next few weeks, Sarah became a friend, Not a replacement for Emily, but someone who helped remind Daniel that kindness and love still existed in the world. He laughed more with her, opened up little by little, and I could see him healing in ways my motherly love alone couldn't accomplish. One evening, he came to me in the kitchen, his eyes brighter than they had been in months. "Mom, thank you for not letting me give up on myself." I hugged him, tears filling my eyes. "That's what moms are for, sweetheart. To remind you of your worth when you can't see it yourself." Years later, when Daniel stood at the altar with Sarah, his hands trembling with joy instead of heartbreak, I thought back to those dark days. Emily leaving had broken him, yes, but it also set him on a path to discovering who he truly was and what kind of love he truly deserved. As I watched him start a new chapter, I realized something powerful. Sometimes, the hardest heartbreaks are the ones that teach us the most important lessons. And as a mother, my role wasn't to stop the storms from coming, but to stand firm beside him until the sun returned. In the end, what I did as his mom didn't just change him. It changed me too. It taught me that love, in all its forms, is about resilience, patience, and the courage to hope again. And that is what truly changed everything.